Quincie White, and I own Quincie's books. Newfound author, physical fighter. I grew up in the inner city, so I know how to fight. So, and that's what saved me actually when I was being faced with sexual assault. That
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, man, when you come and salute that flag, I think there's like a picture of this guest with the flag holding it because she served 33 years in the military. And I know you aren't going to believe it because you're going to say that means she started in elementary because it doesn't look like it. She's smiling. She's having a good time, but she's written a new book. I am talking to Miss Quincie White, who has written, and you can find it on Amazon, people, Soft Targets, her memoir. Miss White, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am awesome. I am awesome. I want you to kind of intro, because this book, people think I was just trying to, get into the negative first, but the reason why this book came is because you have overcome a lot in, your 33 years of service. So what inspired this book?
Well, there's a lot of statistics out there, especially with sexual harassment, sexual assaults, and I just wanted to give back. I gave 33 years. I experienced some of that, and I've overcome some of that, and I've learned to fight with policies and regulation. And I'm just trying to give someone the opportunity to have a career and learn how to navigate these things.
Now, I read in your short bio that you kind of came up and you were kind of vulnerable, like a predator would look at you because you were kind of naive and happy-go-lucky, and yeah, and you still seem happy and full of joy. So I'm glad they couldn't take your joy from you.
Exactly, right. But I did grow up that way. I grew up kind of sheltered. My mother was part of the walk in the civil rights movement, so she protected us from those things. We had no idea that was going on outside of our household. So we were protected, and I didn't start to really experience that until I became an adult.
Okay. And I mean, we talk about, we're going to go to the book, but I'm just thinking, because I have two daughters I'm raising, and my guests know prior to COVID, they would do 3 days of jujitsu and 2 days of swimming because you can't drown. Because as you see, I like water, and you cannot be violated. So jujitsu being the only martial arts you can be on your back, somebody in between your legs, kill them is my advice. If they're not, if they're not wanted, and I tell them they're not wanted, so is it a good thing to try to show to your kids? Because as parents, we try to, hey, turn that off, the kids are coming, or should we just expose them to everything and put them on game?
I think it's a balance, to be sheltered, it's a safety thing. I understand that, but you still have to teach some self-defense. Like raising my daughter, I taught her a lot of things. I was really open because of the things I experienced. And if I had gotten that early, I probably wouldn't have fallen into certain traps. So I think it's a good thing to expose them. My daughter's very open. She'll ask anything, say anything, because I gave her that platform.
Okay, because you didn't want the cycle to continue and somebody to be able to take advantage.
Right.
Okay. And are you still in, and are you from Alabama?
I'm from Alabama. I'm right now located in Hawaii.
Ooh,
I'm actually
nice.
stationed here with 18 months on the books, winding down.
Okay. Sounds like somebody is ready to retire and enjoy.
I am, absolutely. I am.
Yes, I've had current Army, I'm trying to make sure I say it right so I don't get anyone in trouble. But, when folks are done, whether they've been in for 4 months or for 33 years as yourself,
Right.
when you're done, you're done. And you're like, get
Yeah,
me out of here.
absolutely. You're done. Mentally shutting down, ready to go. I'm at home, but I'm trying to continue and be there for my team. But I'm mentally ready to go. Yes.
Okay, so it's gonna be balls to the wall in a different way, and you'll be ready to to get out. you, you know,
Yes. Yes. Done.
okay, and you guys know I try to keep it family friendly, but that's military talk right there. So
Right.
she won't take offense to that.
Oh,
You know, she's boots on the ground, so don't worry. I'm not offending. Now
no.
now with coming up and the exposure, what type of harassment were you did you get? Was it all military? Was it in life? Because some folks have really put the military out there, the different branches, and we know
Right.
that women have been raped and nothing has been happened, which is crazy.
I know. I know. It is crazy. But I can say I experienced some things early. It wasn't really assault or what have you, but it was discrimination in the corporate world. My first job, I that's when I realized people were just in their own world, thought their own way about certain people, and didn't have to know you. So I learned that in the corporate environment. By the time I came into the military environment on a full time basis, I was being asked questions that didn't relate to me. Yeah, like peanut butter and things like that. And I kept figuring, "Oh, well, I don't like peanut butter. I wonder what that means." Things like that that was stereotypical. But like I say, I was sheltered. I had no clue that that meant me as a African American. I didn't get it. So, going on and down the line and experiencing things like that, I started to kind of learn how to defend it and how to fight it, right, and stand up for myself.
And for you, is that fighting physically? Because that's how I would take it. I'd be ready to, somebody violate space, get out of pocket. It's quick to, it's quick.
Well, I'm just going to go and say I am a physical fighter. I grew up in the inner city, so I know how to fight. So, and that's what saved me actually when I was being faced with sexual assault. That actually saved me knowing how to fight physically. So that was a physical fight there, and that's what I think led to someone coming out in time to rescue me from that situation. Had I not fought, I would have fallen victim in a different type of way.
Okay. So somebody might have had a black eye after dealing, trying to come. What is it about the military that somebody would sign up to, dedicate their life and service and then violate one of their coworkers? What is it? Is the military not training people? Is it who they're recruiting?
But the training is there, but you have to understand that these are real people. It doesn't really matter whether you're military, off in college, or in the civilian sector. Predators exist, and joining the military didn't change the person. We teach continuously, but they are who they are, and you still have to be careful. You have to use the same rules as if you're in the streets somewhere. You don't drink with strangers. Things like that. You still have to apply because they're going to be closer in your circle, and of course they can get to you a little quicker. So letting your guard down, makes you vulnerable sometimes.
And let's teach class real quick, because when you have this and when they talk about locker room talk, this is the real locker room talk. Let me expose some game. There will be men who are let's say now scared to approach women. They say, oh, I have to go to Brazil now because I don't know what sexual assault is, because, by definition, it could be forced, coerced, or even manipulated. But back in the day, manipulation was like a key to a guy and a girl, and when he tried to get as many numbers at the skating rink. And so guys took that from the phone numbers to the panty lines, and they don't now know what is appropriate. So can you explain to guys that are still in the locker room and haven't really wanted to hear what sexual assault is, not just the force, but even the manipulation? What is that from a woman's point of view?
Yes, from a woman's perspective, that's unwanted comments, that's unwanted touches, remarks about how you look, things like that. That's sexually oriented. For instance, back in the day, we heard these things, and it was not called sexual assault or harassment, but assault can be just touching you in any type of way, and if it's unwanted. And that's what we don't know.
It was called a compliment at some point,
Correct.
Oh, that means you like them, or that girls would be told, oh, he likes you, that's why he touched your booty.
Right.
Yeah,
correct. That's what I'm saying. We do that, and that was back in the day. Like I say, that was nothing. And this happened to me very young in the military, and I didn't report it. And that's why I'm speaking out, because things happened back then that didn't get reported. And, you're just bringing it to the forefront. These things are unwanted. You have to make it plain and clear now. You have to open your mouth and say, I didn't like that. Don't say that to me again. That's a warning shot now, especially in the military. If that should come a second time, that's when you have grounds to do something about it. And a lot of women don't. They just kind of overlook it like I did, right?
Well, if you do report it, or is it kind of like, police officers always will say, hey, if I report my fellow officer, folks are going to look at me. They're not going to want to, have my six anymore, And so do you get shunned because, God forbid, you really need to count on that person to have your back. And then, they're like, forget you. You reported me.
That happens sometimes, unfortunately. Sometimes there's something happened really bad, and then sometimes there's a slap on the wrist. You don't think is warranted. For instance, there's a woman I've dealt with. This happened, sexual assault. Sometimes the woman, the female in the situation, gets moved to another location as if she's the issue. So they think that's solving it, but it's really not. If nothing happens to the male and the female got moved, it really looks like she's the issue, not the male in that situation. So that happens also. So I just think it gets handled different ways. That's not always credible.
So the woman is supposed to bite the bullet, be quiet, and move. It sounds almost like the Catholic Church. It's they'll shuffle, play a game of shuffle, but there's really no consequence, which means nothing changes. I sometimes wonder if that's because at the top, when you're dealing with politicians and maybe the big brass at top, that there's something that they had to go through and they had to pay their dues, and they feel like that's just what you have to do.
Yeah, like that just happened to me, it's going to happen to you. So a lot of people just kind of keep it going. But that's why I'm writing and stepping out, saying it has to stop somewhere. The statistics are really out of hand at this point. So we got to do something.
Well, it reminds me of bullying in school. And when the teachers back in the day, even bullying, hey, kids will be kids, boys will be boys, until somebody either physically hurt somebody, or nowadays, or, I guess it happened maybe 20 years ago where we would see kids come back and shoot up the school if they were outcast. Now,
Yeah,
does that happen in the military where folks say, you guys didn't listen, so now I'm going to make you listen?
it happened. It happened. I have a situation in my book that actually explains that. I've had well, she was a senior NCO and dating a higher rank, as you say, the brass, and she ended up pregnant and she killed herself.
Mm.
She went after him and she killed herself. So it's just those type of things are happening around us, but nobody says anything until it's too late. Everybody knew this guy was not a great guy, but no one stopped him. So feelings got involved, situation got out of hand.
And I'm sure nothing happened to him because she's no longer around, so it can't be proven.
He was transferred.
Nothing happened. Yeah, that happens every day in the military. That's nothing,
Yes.
What I mean, and so I can hear somebody out there say, okay, but y'all don't understand from the male's point of view. You're dealing with, young men, first time. They're away from home. They're under stress, giving them every excuse, right? But how there are some women who like to party and there's a time to party. But an officer should not be dealing with anyone beneath them.
Correct.
But if you have two people who are on equal levels, how can somebody, what do they need? A permission slip? And I'm being serious. Do they need a video say, hey, we consent to, playing, kissy with each other? Like, what would be a way that you think maybe the military is not doing that they could let men know when it's no man's land? Give a new definition of no man's land. But when it's no man's land versus, okay, you can do that. And when couples break up, all bets are off. So
Right.
how do we fix relationships in the military?
Well, you still have to date within your ranks. It's a written policy. It's a written regulation that you can't. It's called fraternization. So if you're higher ranking, you shouldn't be dating a lower ranking soldier. Doesn't matter what the age is, because rank comes into play when it comes to military, not your age. So if you will see that sometimes, but they may be married. That's if they married before coming into the military. One can come in as an officer, one can come in as enlisted. If they're married, then that's just how it is. That's the way they started out. But that's not how you meet and get together per regulation. So those guidelines are in place.
But what if they're on the same level? Because again, you might have two 18-year-old, I've been to some of the functions inside the small quarters on base, and everyone's having a good time. At least when I was around, but I can only imagine you have someone who's like, I don't really want to be bothered. It's like a college dorm room, being on base with the young folks, and a lot of stuff happens. And, one person thinks this and the other person thinks, nah, that wasn't cool, or this is cool. How can we stop that? Because, it's not just the officers going after the enlisted, but is there anything else you could think of where maybe we say just don't date?
No, I wouldn't say just don't date. Dating is allowed. You gotta have good sense with it. Like I know, when someone's too drunk, you don't sleep with her. That's just bottom line. And as a female or a young male that's away from home for the first time, there's some limits you should set for yourself. If you're gonna be out with others, one drink minimum, go home. You can enjoy yourself without being intoxicated. That's when danger come into play, when you're intoxicated. You don't know what happened the next day, and then it's something really foul. Then you want to file charges. So that happens a lot. So sometimes we got to police ourselves as well as the people around us. Everybody's responsible here.
Have you ever had to take anything to the military court?
I have not. I've never been court-martialed or went to a court-martial. I've been counseled. I've been in meetings, and we've talked about things. And this is when I was exonerated from a lot of things because I come in with policies and regulations, and I fight those battles in that way. I've been in bad situations, but regulation has cleared me on it because I'm not wrong in my situation. I've had to have higher ranking officers and soldiers and tell one of them to back off. So that's considered to them not being respectful or, that type of thing. But I'm within my right to tell someone to back off if they're crossing certain lines.
And I ask that because many folks have said if something happens on base between two soldiers, it can be very biased and not fair because you're under that military rule, and that. Yeah. So can you talk about if you've had any experience with that? Just because a lot of women won't report stuff because they'll say these guys aren't going to do anything.
Correct. And a lot, and that happens all the time. Uh, like I said, that comes back to how you handle yourself in those situations. It's never your fault if you're victimized, of course, but just getting in a position where you can be victimized is what you got to work on. People are going to be people. You don't know that person sitting across the table from you just because you're wearing the same uniform. You have to still be cautious, and you have to uh, fight policies and regulation. But you got to still use your, common sense about stuff too. If I don't know you and we're out, I'm probably gonna have a drink, but that's gonna be it. I'm gonna enjoy that date and I'm gonna go home. That's it until I get to know you better. And a lot of times, the getting to know you better doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of some folks in the military.
Right.
I would say one drink could work for almost everybody except the Navy guys because I think it's almost impossible that once they come off that ship, they just wild out.
Well,
Especially,
out, right?
yeah.
I know. But and they get got too. There's some women out there just waiting for them as well. So this is not one-sided. There are some women out there waiting for the guys to come in and take all of their money and leave them rendered unconscious somewhere as well. So it happens on both sides. Yeah.
And that's their fault. But there's another side of it, and I don't know, but I just know it exists. Mm-hmm. That I haven't even heard anyone talk about it, but I know in entertainment, truly there are stories that could be told. It's not just the men violating the women; it's some of the men violating the men, and that, and then to have another man come out and say, "Hey, so-and-so who might outrank me did this." I mean, there will be a time somebody would laugh and say, that guy must have been drunk. But have you heard of those stories? Because that can really mess with a guy's mind.
That can happen, even when it comes to rank structure, a young guy coming in and they're thinking they got to do immoral things or unethical things to get promotions. That happens. If you don't know any better, you think, oh, well, I can get you promoted. Let's do this. And they go along with it. It's called naive, young, never been away from home, don't know how this works, don't know how to get promoted. So these are the things we got to start to educate ourselves on, so we don't know we don't have to cross the moral boundaries to grow in the military. And that's my point. You don't have to do any of that to grow in the military.
Well, you've been in 33 years.
33 years.
I can remember when you could be openly homosexual in the military, and it was a big deal because someone would say that's why we should not elect gays in the military. And I'm thinking they were already there, they just didn't say nothing.
Right.
And
already there.
Yeah, they were there and serving and while you were at home having a good time. So
Right.
do you think just to, anybody who would say that, do you think that sexual harassment on that end, maybe you've seen some things with, guys prior, then when they could fully
Mhm.
come out and open? I mean, I've been on bases. I have not seen, rainbow flags everywhere like I do on churches.
Right.
And so do you think that things have really changed as far as that? Because I'm just trying to paint a picture for that person who says, they should not have let them in. And
Mhm.
like, I mean, it's not like they're walking around with booty shorts like the movie, you
Right.
know?
Well, I haven't seen any a big difference, but right now, they are allowed in the military again. They had a don't ask, don't tell policy before, but they threw that out. So gays are in the military. Yeah, that's no big deal because they're treated the same way. Same rules apply. Yeah. But so I don't see it anymore. You know, anymore what you call sexual assaults or harassment toward gay versus any other personnel there. They have the same rights. Uh, they're married to women, a woman married to a woman, man married to a man. They have the same benefits. There's no difference in the military right now. So, but
Oh,
harassment, just general harassment happens to everybody.
definitely, definitely. Now, from this book, do you see yourself, because retirement coming around, but you're too young to do nothing and you're too able and fit? So do you see yourself maybe going and doing courses, teaching about,
Mm.
speaking? What's the plan?
I, I'm old enough to do nothing.
uh
Yes, I am.
no.
I'm old enough to do nothing. I plan to. I plan to do nothing.
Really?
I've given them 33 years of my life. Yeah, I think I earned to do nothing.
Well, you definitely earned it, but I bet you, and I make an open bet, and I don't bet. I bet you don't sit around you calling me saying, "Hey, okay, COVID is over. TED Talks. I got a course on this because I'm passionate about that." Because to do
Right.
nothing, I see when people retire, when they
Yes.
do nothing, they don't really last long. They at least got to travel. They got to go do something, or you just kind of, fade to black.
Well, I travel. I love to travel, but I've done mine all the time along with working. I didn't just, work every day in the military and do nothing. I took leave. I love to travel. I also bowl. I'm a bowler. I bowl for the Army. So I'm always traveling. I love Vegas. I'm all over the place. So I can do that.
Okay, so you might be a professional bowler.
I don't know if I'm professional, but I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, okay. Well, you gotta speak it. You got because you bowlers travel a lot, and you picking up a game and let the Army sponsor you.
Right.
I don't know if you
Right.
can do that professionally for them. Can you?
Well, I can do it professionally for the WPBA. Yes, we've been around them. We've hung out with the big time bowlers, but you gotta want to do that. You gotta really want to get vested in doing that. Yes. So
Okay.
I bowl for the Army. I'm an all Army bowler.
Okay, yeah, you got to tell somebody. When I retire, I'm looking for a sponsorship. I'll wear the jacket, the hat. I'll come in with the different uniforms, really sell it. Because let's be honest, like we came up, we played football, basketball, but we also did bowling, and that was just what we did. Because my mother, God rest her
Right.
soul, that's what she liked to do, and pops
Right.
liked to do it too, and that was
Right.
the thing. But now
Mhm.
I don't hear a lot of kids when you say bowling, they're like, "Huh? Bowling?"
Right. I
You-
love it. I love bowling. Love it. So that's my sport. That's my hobby. I love it. And I do some writing, as you see. I'm trying to get things off my mind. Writing is therapy for me. it's not just to help others, it helps me as well.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
While you said that, I'm picturing you full army outfit while you're bowling, and put a body cam right here. And while other people can camera you, you got the real vision, right here. I
Really.
see it like a YouTube channel, and you
But go
know,
ahead and make me a professional bowler. Yes.
yeah, that makes sense, because once this COVID thing gets worked out, folks are going to be running outside. I don't think
I
anybody's going to
know.
be inside.
I
Yeah.
know. It's been quite a time of just being inside now. It's rough. But it's time to get out. We got to get these vaccines in, and get back to our normalcy. It's tough. Really.
Yeah. And if it improves a little bit, because normal wasn't always all good for everybody, if things
Right.
improve, and
Right.
it's all right with
Yeah.
with the success that you've had and that you're gonna
Mhm.
have, because the best is yet to come. What is a community give back that you are doing right now, or that you would like to do in the future?
Well, I like consulting. I talk to a lot of people, and I am a counselor on my job. So that's my give back, helping people, deal with certain things and win, just win. It's all about being happy to me now. That's my
Okay.
give back.
And the counseling, that's what you do. Is it grief? What type of counseling do you like to specialize in?
On careers. I counsel on careers. I have a team of counselors actually. I'm over them, so I'm their area leader. So I've done counseling one on one, and now I'm counseling the counselors. So it can be tough sometimes mentally, and it wears on you. Sometimes the counselor needs some counseling. Yes,
Definitely, definitely, and there's nothing wrong with
definitely.
nothing
Right,
wrong with getting it.
right,
It
right.
is that something, once you're done, because you will have a benefit with government RFPs. You're supposed to be
Mhm.
first in line going after the government contracting. Could you see yourself doing that wherever you do want to go live, and saying, I have this consulting counseling service, and could that be in the future?
That could be in the future. Yeah, that's my comfort zone. So that could be in the future.
Okay, yeah, because
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of, what your future
What
looks
I'm gonna
like,
do after
what you gonna do after, and are you single?
I'm married.
You're married,
Hmm.
so yeah,
Yeah,
you definitely, you're not gonna want to just be in the house all day. You're gonna want to move
right.
move around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna want to move around a
As
little
long
bit.
as he's working, I'm good, right? I can do
Okay,
nothing.
but you know what? He might say, and I don't know, he might be 25 for all I know, right? So
No, no, he's
but
not.
he's not okay. So he might say, well, if she retired, we could probably spend a lot more time together. I better retire too. So you gotta,
That doesn't work. Nope, no. We
but
spend a lot of time together now. That's good.
okay.
COVID.
COVID, yeah. Now, COVID, my wife told me, she's like, I have more vacation than ever. And I know you
Yeah.
love to work. That's all you like to do when you're at the house. I say, I also got to discipline the children
Right.
over here, my clones over here. But she's like, I think COVID got to me. I just need to get out, or you need to get out. And I said,
Right. You have
yeah,
to change the scenery, right?
yes.
I'm out here on the beach and can't go to the beach. Can you imagine that? Being on an island with COVID? You can't
Okay.
do the beach things. So
So
it's
I've
been
been in
rough.
Florida 7 months, and the beaches
Oh,
are wide open.
I know. And
You-
so is the level of depths and everything, right?
yeah, they don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about that. And you would be shocked to see how busy some of the beaches. I do have a beach that there's very few people that you can go to and run, but you would
Mhm.
be shocked how crowded, and folks are just, that's why the numbers are going up. So yeah, stay safe and just
Right.
look at it from the car.
Yes. That's it. That's it. But here on Oahu, they've been really good about it. So numbers are going down. Um,
Oh,
they are
good.
very protective. So they're doing a great job. Yeah. Here.
No, I am so glad to hear that, because when COVID first came around, we were actually coming back from the Big Island, and it was our first time there, and we
Mhm.
heard about it. And my wife is in healthcare, and she was like, they were calling me patient zero at work because I had, some of the symptoms, but
Right.
she said there's no cases in Hawaii until we left, right? So
Right.
I I,
Right.
I said, yeah, we ain't going to Africa anytime soon, because
I
it's
know. I know.
we,
Anywhere.
yeah, anywhere. But no, this is good. This is good. I want you guys to go check out the book. The link is in the description box. Get motivated. You should go through a book a week. I promise you, if you do that, you will not be broke. That's a good word from Miles Monroe. May he rest in power. Miss Quincie, do you have anything that you want to leave the people with?
Oh no, that was that covered most of it right there. This has been thorough, and I enjoyed it. Mhm.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you guys have gotten the game. Make sure to do something with it. If nothing else, it is free to share. Share it and let someone else get inspired. Be blessed, y'all.